Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, a show in which we turn on the radio and talk about what it is that we find. We'll start with an autobiographical note for myself. If I ever watch this in 10 years, I might be interested to know that this is the time in which the condo complex has been repainted in different colors. I'm trying not to hate it. There's a slightly dusk of minty green, which just doesn't go with the grass. You know, this is Florida. We've got green grass everywhere. And then half of the buildings are this much yellower green. It just doesn't go with the grass. But I just noticed they're painting every other building that green color. But it looks like the other color is a very interesting color. A little browner than gray. A little warmer than gray. But it doesn't go with the grass either. So there we are. So back to our Christmas music. This is the time of Christmas music filling the radio waves. I would say that it's high intensity. It's going to remain this way until December 25th, and then it's going to taper off. I'm always interested in what's going to be the first Christmas song I hear, what's going to be the last Christmas song I hear. But it's not like I have hard statistics on that. But then I have all these Christmas CDs that I'd like to listen to and review. But I'm not sure how artists on YouTube, how creators on YouTube, content creators, play this copywritten material without getting copyright strikes, because I have played very little and I have received copyright strikes. Anyway, so I don't know where the channel's headed, but I don't think anybody's gotten much out of it, but a few people have gotten a little entertainment for a few minutes or more, something to fill their time. Isn't that sad that we want to fill our time rather than create things or learn things or do something a little more productive? Anyway, so we had Santa come and deliver gifts for the chimps. And Tonk, our littlest chimp, one of the only chimpanzees born last year in captivity. Boy, that's sad. But at least we had one, right? Enjoyed his Christmas presents. He wandered away from his mom a little tiny bit. He swung on some ropes a little bit. He seemed interested in all of the activity. The situation that we have for our chimps is that they have different islands they can go to. And so sometimes they have, they always have different things to find, different things to do. It's called enrichment, but it's really just toys and things of interest. Different foods, different places to find the food, and different things to do. When the two troops came out, both alpha males postured and whoops to show how dominant they are to each other. But that was very short. And then they were mostly interested in all the gifts because that's what's different. And they're always trying to figure out what's new and different. And adapting to different situations. Being probably the most intelligent animal we have, they need more stimulation and differences and things to do than all the rest. I mean, when you consider reptiles just basically want to control their temperature. So for them, their decision is, do I sit in the sun? Do I sit in the shade? Do I sit in the water? Do I put half of my body in the water and half of my body in the sun? And do I open my mouth to let heat out or not? It seems to be their main concern. But then you've got the animals who need more things to do, like the birds. They need something to play with, and they need to interact with their friends or frenemies or whatever. And then you've got the mammals who have a distinct mode of play that they want to engage in sometimes, but then they also want to feel safe. So they tend to stay by a fence so that they feel that security, but they also can look out and see what else is going on, because they're looking to see for stimulation, and they want to know how their environment changes and what's going on when everybody else is doing. But the chimps have all that and more. They have problem solving that they need to do in order to stay active and so forth. It's always a challenge with the zoo to keep the animals entertained, and in some respects it's very similar to our pets. If you don't have more than one pet, a dog, a cat, well, a dog more than a cat, they need something to interact with that's going to interact back. And we really don't want to encourage that hunting instinct, but that's what they were made to do, or that's what they do when they're not people, is they hunt for their food. And they need some kind of replacement if they're going to hunt. So this week, a couple things happened with birds that don't generally happen. I have very little interaction with the birds, but I see them. The Saurus cranes were returned to their island, and I was told that they were really, really happy to be returned to their island. Most animals like that familiarity and that sense of security of having a particular place. In the wild, that place would change more often, but they still want that. And so the Saurus cranes were put away for the bird flu and hurricane season. And they're huge, and they're very strong, and they can jump very high. So I heard from the manager's mouth, not the horse's mouth, I heard that they had jumped over the line of people and run out into the parking lot. Now I think that probably was a little hyperbole. They probably got close to the parking lot. They probably didn't jump over their heads. They probably jumped, they probably jumped and got close to the parking lot. But the way it was described was that they jumped over our heads and got lost in the parking lot. Something like that must have happened. But this time, they backed the truck right up into the petting zoo, almost to the gate where the Saurus cranes were herded toward, and we just stood on both sides to encourage them to go towards a horse trailer. And I happened to be standing right next to our version of Jack Hanna. And I I was playing hooky from the train because it was raining. So I guess this really isn't driving perilously, the show in which we turn on the radio and talk about what it is that we find. This is story time. And we just stood there, and the birds decided to go into the horse trailer rather than come towards us or go back towards the person that was slowly inching them forward. And then the other thing with the birds is Laverne, the hornbill, was trying to discipline or even drown Jimmy. They had been returned to their island. And the only thing I can come up with is that when she got back to her island, Laverne saw how things were, and she saw how she wanted things to change, and she thought they weren't going to change, and so she decided to beat Jimmy into submission. And he's bigger than her. And she usually just responds to him. When he goes, boo, 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 she goes, boo, 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 boo. But he seems to be the one that starts it. He seems to be the one that takes the lead. But in this situation, she pushed him in the water, which I didn't see, and kept pushing him like she was going to drown him. And the hornbills never interact with the water. That's why they're on an island, to keep them there. And Michelle had to come out and pick him up and carry him off. I don't know exactly where they put it, but that was two things with the birds that I was privileged to see. I also got a bunch of flamingo feathers. This week, or the last week and a half or so. So I finally got some pictures taken with Martin. Not really good ones. You can't really see his smile. But he's a good boy. He's 15. And he stands out by the brushes and the gate. So when people come in, they are encouraged to brush him. And he comes up to people and makes his presence known. And I like to think that he's still in charge of the petting zoo, but other people say that Justin has knocked him off from his pedestal. I've been wanting to make t-shirts that have the blue and red. Like sometimes you'll have a donkey and an elephant represent Democrats and Republicans. I want to have a blue and red Justin and Martin facing each other. And Martin would of course have a profile, and he'd be blue with the red background, and Justin would be red with the blue background, and they'd be like politicians politicking for dominance. But I don't really have a desire to spend money on that, even though I would like a shirt like that. So this has been story time about my work and a little bit about my home. And I think next time we'll return to Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn on the radio and talk about what it is that we find. What we're finding now in real life is rain, 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 cool, comfortable temperatures, and the closest to winter that we're going to get. Alright everybody, that's it for today's episode. Hope you're having a great